What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kind of Funny podcast. I am one of your hosts, Nick Scar. Joey, not yet.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. You're jumping the gun on that. You understand that? I like that you got prepped for it, but I need you to be cool as a cucumber like Andy over there.
Okay.
Andy knows it's coming.
I'm not even going to reach. I
He
can't.
doesn't even care. He doesn't care. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this is a Kind of Funny podcast where each and every week, 3, sometimes 4 best friends gather around this table. Oh, I couldn't reach either. Look at that.
Get tall.
I threw some shade at Joey just now, and I was in shade myself.
We
Each
are
bringing
the 4
topics.
shortest people on the podcast.
We are so spread out too. Look at how tiny I look in this chair. It's actually really sad. Folks, look, if you didn't know,
Episode.
we love you all out there. Thank you so much for your support. Shout out to our Patreon producers who make this show possible every week. Carlos Jacobs, Nathan Lamoth, Alex J. Sandoval, James Hastings, and Casey Andrew. You are amazing. And this show this week is brought to you by our illustrious sponsors, Hims and Aura Frames, but we are going to talk about them a little bit later. If you guys didn't know, this is Patreon Pledge Month. So, hey, if you're watching this live, thank you so much for your support. And if you're not and you got a couple bucks to give, maybe head over to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and throw us a couple bucks if you can. If not, no big deal. Tell your friends about this podcast. Tell your neighbors about this podcast. And if they have YouTube on their phone, just log in and have them leave a little comment. We were talking about Blessing getting a 6-pack, and I'm very excited to continue that conversation right now. Blessing, IDOA Jr.
It's not gonna
Blessing
happen.
was like,
I really
maybe
want it
this
to
is it.
happen. It's part of my. I made a list of goals for 30,
Okay.
and my one physical goal is to get a 6-pack. And
So you picked the hardest physical goal possible.
yeah, because it's all I care about. Like
It's fair.
I feel good about because I mentioned right. Like I asked
Mhm.
you, like we were talking about the kind of workouts we've been doing. I've been doing.
Mhm.
And you mentioned that like the people will do like cosmetic workouts, which are basically like the arms and the
It's your
chest.
biceps and triceps and chest, yeah.
Yeah.
And shoulders.
But like the more important workouts to do would be
Plus,
like
watch your mic, please.
the more important. God, I've never had to like practice.
You
mic
gotta swivel
discipline.
it.
Yeah, don't.
You gotta
don't
grab
knock
it by
over
the
his
butt
coffee,
and swivel it,
don't
swivel it, swivel it. Yeah, the coffee cups.
But yeah, you talked about how like the more important things to do would be like the core workouts or like the leg workouts and stuff, and that's the stuff that I tend to struggle with. Like the last 10 months, I've been working on more of like the cosmetic stuff. So I've been doing like a lot of like biceps, triceps,
Yeah.
chest type stuff. But the thing that I adore whenever I see it on somebody is like a good like 6-pack.
You want the thrust bucket. You want
Yes.
that like
You know the D'Angelo.
you can grab a handful of
I want
that
the
side.
D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Kevin, can you look up the music video? It's called "How Does It Feel" by D'Angelo. That's what I want.
Can you
That was
yeah,
a
gonna have to
moment in
spell
American
D'Angelo
history.
for him.
It's D''Angelo.
Yeah, there you go.
T apostrophe Angelo. Great spelling.
It is it's something that will elude me for the rest of my life. I will never have a 6-pack. I can honestly say that's not even a possibility for me to have a 6-pack at this point in my life, my elevated age. But you could absolutely do that. It's just gotta have to be diet. You're gonna have to just really watch and
What do they say?
restrict your
They're made in the
calories.
kitchen, not in the gym.
Is that what they
Sure.
say?
Yeah.
That's what
Oh,
they
then I'm
say.
screwed.
Because at the end of the day, in order to get a 6-pack, you have to do you have to basically intermittent fast so hard that you lose all of your body fat. Because I think in order to have a 6-pack, you have to be like below 6% body fat as a male or something like that, or maybe below 10, which is crazy because I'm sitting at probably 26% body fat right now.
Don't they? Well, okay, hold on. If we put Patreon members, if we put enough Patreon pledge money together, there's something called like ab sculpting.
Oh yeah, this is like a
It's
Right.
a
procedure.
it's a
You mean
procedure.
cool sculpting? Is that what you're talking about?
Huh?
Cool
Cool
sculpting?
Is this part of the Ozempic craze?
No,
No.
this is like a.
Cool sculpting is adjacent.
This is the music video I was
Jesus.
talking about.
It is perfectly
Right.
cropped.
It is.
What
It is.
is that?
This
The
shit
cooch cuts, man.
Oh
is
my
incredible. So this is
God.
D'Angelo. How does it feel? The music video. It is the sexiest music video of all time.
This guy
Is
looks
he
like
just-
a Ken doll.
Have you?
It is the sexiest thing I've
in
ever
not
seen
a
in my
sexy
life.
way, in my opinion.
So like apparently he hasn't been doing great mentally because this video like was so
Jesus.
sexually subjectifying him
Okay.
or objectifying him that he
is getting
wasn't really
dangerously
able to do
close.
much after that, and it's like it was like not great on the mental for the rest of his career because he tried to branch out and keep on doing just music, and it was like shut up, show us your stomach, So shout out to our prayers are out there for you, D'Angelo.
I'm
Praise
sorry,
for
Andy.
D'Angelo.
I didn't listen to a goddamn word you just said.
I mean you rarely do.
This video is so incredibly sexually charged.
Could you imagine like?
No, I can't.
Because I would do the same. Like, of course, I'm
I'm
like,
allow
oh,
myself to.
You would do the same thing.
if I had this body and my production company came to me and they're like, hey, we got to shoot a music video for your very sexy song, and they're like, what do you want to do? I'm like, all right, put me in front of a black screen and let me just be naked. and just have a camera
That
rotate
camera
around
work
me.
is so precise.
Yeah. And I want to
mean-
know what the because do you think he has anything covering like the
No.
explicit parts?
Why would
I
you?
sock it.
Yeah,
A little
I would
sock?
assume so.
I would be like, this is what's happening. I'm all natural today. If you can't
Sticks
deal
out.
with it, you got it. Like everyone signs an agreement saying we understand what's going to happen. You're going to see the schwanz. It's going to go. If you're not comfortable with that, no big deal. But it's schwanz out.
Yeah.
It's schwanz out.
Beautiful though.
That's
I just hear
beautiful.
Roger laughing and clapping.
I know.
in the other
Probably
room.
not
And I
at
know
us.
it's not about us,
Probably not.
and it makes me angry, and I want to know why he's laughing.
So yeah, in the kitchen, not in the gym. Bless.
Then I can't do it.
Because
So less Pizza Hut.
but that's why I bring up this whole sculpting. It's not the cool sculpting thing. It's not like where they use freeze drying or whatever. Like I don't know what
That's
they
cool
do.
sculpting, yeah. Where
Yeah.
they
But
freeze
like
the fat.
But it felt like they, like a surgical sort of procedure where they kind of like cut into your abs.
But I mean, bless
Do
you,
you
you
wanna
don't
have
need that.
surgery?
You don't. I mean, you could do it. You have a good
I-
good enough physique and you're skinny enough that you could probably do it in 6 months. If
But
you,
I
if you
don't
wanted
have
to.
good discipline when it comes to food.
But you will when you start seeing that, and you go,
Yeah.
oh shit, right? That when you start looking like that, if you start getting even a second of that, that's very inspiring.
Have you
I would
have you
imagine.
not had abs before?
When I was like a teenager,
Hmm.
yeah, when I was a teenager, I had a six
But
pack probably
he's-
until I was like 19.
He's also got like maybe 10 to 15 pounds of muscle on him too.
Yeah.
So that's the trick is you do have to gain muscle in order to have that definition in like your actual abs. Otherwise, you're just gonna be skinny, which is
Yeah.
fine, and you'll have a 6-pack because you're skinny. But you don't want skinny. You want someone to be able to grab a hold of that damn thing and not let go until they're finished. Yeah, I get it.
Well,
I
I'm
totally
craving it.
understand that. See, I go the opposite way, where I just have a stomach, and then I keep my shirt on whenever I have to do any activities. So it's the
Yeah.
opposite.
Here's the thing. I know what 2024 summer has been Brat Summer,
Correct.
which I still don't understand, but like
Have you not
that's
been listening to Charlie XCX?
no, I've been meaning to put on the song so I can understand
You
a
need
little bit.
the whole album is good.
I just found out what
Yeah.
demure is, so I don't know.
Oh.
Mm.
That was a
Demure-
quick one.
Dude, that came and gone real
Yeah.
fast. Me and Mike were making demure jokes the day I saw the thing, and then
Mhm.
by the day after, I saw people already being like, "Stop it,"
yeah.
which is nuts. But like for 2025, because I'm anticipating 2025, we're gonna be back to what was it, Hot Boy Summer?
Oh,
what is
Chet
now? What is
Hanks.
Brat Boy Summer? What is that?
It's just Brat Summer,
Brat Summer.
not
What is
gendered. It's the name of the Charlie XCX album, and it's like a throwback to like remember when we used to love clubbing and it was so fun, but now we're dragged down by generational trauma and do I want to have kids and all of these other things. So it's
Oh.
like forget about all
that?
that
I mean,
stuff.
adulthood.
Let's
Yeah,
go back
Yeah.
to just doing coke at clubs.
that's so much more fun.
I don't know if that's a healthy way to cope with this.
Well, it is
go through
a
that.
way.
Yeah.
That's absolutely fascinating.
Are you gonna celebrate Brat Summer?
I think I always celebrate Brat Summer.
Mm.
I think I've been celebrating that since I was in my early 20s because I don't have kids
hmm
and I feel no desire to have them. So I think it's going to be okay.
What
Yeah.
has defined the summer for you, Nick?
Define this summer for me.
Mhm.
Ooh,
What's this the summer of?
that's a great question. This is the summer of heat for me, man.
Summer love.
No, just the summer of like hot, sweaty shows for me. I've been in a lot
Oh,
of
is that good?
clubs lately where I've had shows and I'm like, ooh, there's like a funk going on in this. Like San Diego Comic-Con had a lot of like sweat to it, a lot of grime to it. You got that like where you blink your eyes and you're on stage, you blink your eyes, you go, ooh, they're like a little sticky. Punchline last night was just hot because there's no air conditioning. So it's been that's defined my summer. A little bit of bourbon, a little bit of heat. You walk out of the club, you're like, it's kind of nice out here right now. I could stay out here till midnight. It's almost like a Southern California night.
The
Like
best.
that.
Yeah.
I really
Those are
gotta
the
like.
best.
I can't give you enough applause for being so committed to being like you do late night comedy shit like 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know. I guess I really am just kind of applauding you for going out.
I was gonna say because you Twitch stream at night and that's more energy probably than it
No,
takes
but
for me to
like
go to
it takes
shows.
but there's a lot of mental energy that goes into like, all right, I'm going somewhere. I'm gonna be around people.
Yeah.
I gotta like kind of get ready, like that takes a lot, and you do it a lot. And there's times where we're playing Call of Duty or whatever, and I look and it's like, where's Nick at? It's like, oh, he's got a late night thing. He's got another comedy night. It's like, god dang, that he's always out there. He's on the grind, and I just respect the shit out of it, Nick.
Thanks, man.
Thanks
Yeah.
on the ground.
It
It's been,
seems so exhausting.
It is super exhausting. But I'll tell you what, I have Felicia Day to thank for this because she taught me the virtue of the disco nap.
Oh, love a
The
disco.
disco nap.
You ever heard this?
No.
She was like, she was talking about her schedule one time we had on the podcast. That was when she called Kevin Gross. They've since rectified that.
That's not true. We haven't. I still hate her.
Oh, I thought you were right. I thought you guys had
Yeah, she took
last
it
time she
back
was
and then
here.
immediately talked shit.
She still thinks you're gross, yeah.
That's tough, man. I mean, you're gonna have to sort that shit out.
Yeah.
That was because of the tongue thing, right?
Yeah.
It was gross.
Remember that episode?
Hey, chill out, bro.
But she was running me through her Comic-Con schedule. And she was like, she was like panels all day long, shooting a show, shooting this. And then she goes, yeah, then I go home, I disco nap for a half hour, get ready, go back out. I can go 6-7 more hours. I was like, what's a disco nap? It's just when you hit that, you just train your body, 5 o'clock, hit the bed, try to conk out for 30 minutes, get a little refresher,
No
get up,
way.
go out, rock it.
Can't nap like that.
I tried that once. I woke up with a hangover.
You just woke up hungover?
I was coming back home from a birthday party that somebody had at Golden Gate Park, and they had like these little canned like margarita things I'd never seen before.
Mhm.
Oh no.
And I had like 1.5 of those, and I was like, "Wow, this is potent!" Like
Well,
this is.
you did it the opposite. Well, first off, those canned margaritas are like 8% alcohol.
They're-
They fuck you up.
They were insane.
Yeah.
And I had like again a 1.5 of them, and this is around maybe like 3 p.m. And then by the time I was leaving, we were like, "Yo, we gotta reconvene tonight. We're gonna go back. We're gonna hit the club tonight."
No.
And we were all about it. I went home, took that nap, woke up, I was fucked up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you drank beforehand.
Yeah.
So the disco nap doesn't do away with the alcohol.
Yeah.
I should've
You
known.
can't
That's
get
not what
bombed,
it's
come home with a
exhaustion
burrito, and then
levels.
fall asleep.
This
Yeah, that's
has
not
nothing
gonna
to do with
it.
alcohol.
Yeah. This is more
my
just
bad.
energy output so that you can have a little bit of energy.
When I tell
for
you,
the
I
evening.
woke up. It was like I woke up at like maybe 5:30 p.m. and I legitimately like the room was spinning, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh.
fuck, I messed up."
I've been
I
there.
was sitting on the floor next
we
to
used
the
to-
toilet.
We used to do beta breakers and days like that where it would be like, because in San Francisco, there's always an occasion to day drink, but I could never make it past like 3 o'clock. I would get home from beta breakers. You'd have to be out there at like 9 a.m., 8 a.m. because the race starts hella early and then you want to follow the
7,
race.
6, yeah.
And so we used to be out there and then I would just stumble home at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon with a burrito so that I got somewhere, and Dee would have to take care of me because she would never come out. Never come out for that shit. But yeah. Anyway, the disco nap is how I do it, which is great. But it's hard. It's tough. There's moments where you go, how badly do you want this? Because you get home. And the big problem is I just don't get to see Dee that much. And so that's why if anyone ever invites me to do stuff on like Saturday, Sunday, I kind of have to politely decline because I'm always like, this is really the only time I get with my wife where it's unobstructed, like just the two of us. Because like tonight, I think I have the night off. Tomorrow I got a show down the street from me, which is not that bad, but still she goes, like I'll see her for an hour and then I got to
Yeah.
get mentally prepared for it, go down there and hang out and do that stuff. And then I got shows Thursday, Friday, and 2 on Sunday. And then another one next Monday and then another one next Tuesday. So you start looking at that and you get addicted to it. You go, this is super cool and I'm glad I'm getting booked because for so long I didn't get booked.
Yeah.
And so now it's one of those like feast or famine things. Like if I say no to anything, I'm worried they'll never come back around to me. So I just say yes to everything. And Dee'll have to politely remind me like, hey, you've gone like 8 days in a row without a night off. Like you got to cool it off. And thankfully she lets me sleep in like a child. I sleep until like 11.
Dude, hell yeah.
The
It's the
dream.
best. But it sucks because
No kids, bro.
no kids. I mean, that's a huge part of it. Fuck no. You think Greg can sleep until 11?
Absolutely
Ben's
not.
waking his ass up to go on a walk at like probably 6 a.m.
You think Greg's coming back?
I hope not.
I
It's been so
think
pleasant
it's
without him.
50-50.
Wait, Greg's taking his kid on a walk like
What's
a pet.
that? They gotta take him out, right? How do they poop? They gotta poop somewhere.
They're not dogs.
Take him outside.
No. I mean, it's oh my gosh. Well, I'll let Greg tell that story. But
I had a
but,
weird one last night, and last night kind of made me really, really sad, feeling how comfortable I'd gotten having House of the Dragon every Sunday night.
Mhm.
And I just miss appointment viewing like that.
Yeah.
And I hadn't had it in so long because I wasn't really watching a whole lot. You know, of course, Wednesday you have your, you had The Boys on Wednesday, and then before that it was
Good
like
on Wednesday.
Invincible.
Oh, yeah.
But having that 8 weeks of House of the Dragon felt so right. And I felt so good going into Sunday knowing like, oh, tonight House of the Dragon, like at 6 o'clock, get some little snacks, get ready. And last night, these past few Sundays have just felt so lonely. I need that sort of nightly, here's my thing I'm going to
Yeah.
do
Is there
tonight.
not
Nothing
a
to look
Zeitgeist
forward
show right
to.
now?
Industry, right? Is like the new one.
I don't know
Industry's
what that
great.
is.
I never heard of that.
I started watching Industry, but then I stopped because it was like a little too close to Succession and I couldn't balance both
It's
of
a
them,
different
but
vibe. but same intensity.
Yeah.
You know, Industry is a show on HBO. Correct me if I'm wrong about any of these details, because I think I kind of
with
vicariously
Jon
watched
Snow.
it. No, I don't think Kit Harington's in it. It's the guy that plays Alan in Alien Romulus is in it. He's one of the characters. It's about a bunch of like young people at a hedge fund or like stockbrokers. One of those, like they're finance guys, and it's just about that sort of life. But everyone is like oddly fucked up and cold, and it's just
Kit
about.
Harington's
Oh, it
in
is
it.
okay. Is he?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I'm totally wrong. I didn't realize he was in that. Okay, there you go. Yeah, he's in that one.
I was going crazy the last like 20 seconds. I feel like, fuck, I could have, man. I guess they're making another show.
I only watched the first season.
Oh,
like,
okay, gotcha.
I mean, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
But I liked it a lot. It's supposed to be really good. Like, or the new season's supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
So.
This is one that's on my list. Though
Season 3? What? When did this
Yeah.
show
It
start?
it started
Wait, what's Kit-
during Succession because Goldvar was trying to get me to watch it. I'm like, this is too much to do both of them at the same time. But
I forget the
it's
other.
really good.
Yeah.
I started watching True Blood this weekend,
No
which I
way.
had never watched before.
True Blood was one of, it's funny. I was just talking to Roger about like how when I was younger.
That feels like a
my-
formative show for Bless.
No, like it was formative in one way, but like it was one of those shows where, like, as a kid, there were those cable packages that like we would rotate around. Or no, it was after my house caught on fire, where we moved to a new place real quick.
Is this lore we're supposed to know about Bless? That
Have
his
you not-
house caught on fire?
Yeah, my house caught on fire when I was like 14.
No, I
Um,
don't know
he did
this. You did?
No,
it?
I did not do it.
Ah,
I was
that's
home
a
alone
lie.
when it happened, but like I was
That's
not.
terrible. What did you call 911?
Yeah, I called 911. Yeah.
And they just the fire people came.
Was it
and-
oven
Yeah.
or what?
What?
Oven? Was it
No,
a...
it was like a plug. It was like an extension cord that was in my sister's room.
Always an extension.
And
cord.
it's always an extension cord. It was in my sister's room, and nobody was living in that room at the time because my sisters had gone to college. And it was like behind one of the like cabinet that the TV was on, and it had caught under the carpet, and so it like cut open because like the needles under the carpet, and then just caught on fire. And I was home alone at the time.
Fuck.
That's terrifying.
Remind me to get back to True Blood.
Yeah.
We can talk about True Blood. Yeah.
I was home alone at the time.
Sookie.
And I wasn't supposed to be on the computer. I'm pretty sure because I was grounded. But I was on the computer anyway. I was on Facebook chatting up with my homies. And I hear something upstairs, and I'm like, "Oh, my mom's not supposed to be home yet," because it was just me and my mom living together at that point. I was like, "Oh, my mom's not supposed to be home yet. I might be getting robbed right now, right? Like there might be like a burglar or something." And so I take like a broomstick. And
That's your weapon of choice?
yeah, because like we didn't have like a gun or anything. But
I'll
we
sweep you away.
Baseball bat.
we don't. I wasn't playing baseball. But yeah, I took a fucking broomstick, and I go upstairs. I find nothing. I go in my room, and I try to turn on the light in my room, and the light won't turn on. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess the breaker went out. Let me go to the garage, flip the breaker. So I do that. Come back to my room. Light's still not going on, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. Let me go check like the other room. So I open up my sister's room door, and I see flames, and I'm like, oh. And I close the door, and legitimately I'm standing there like,
What do I do?
yeah, I'm like, oh, there's a
fuck.
fire. Like,
That's
there's-
terrifying.
Yeah, there's legitimately a fire in my house. And so I go back into my room. I grab a pair of shoes. They were mismatched because I was in a hurry. Like my
Yeah.
mind's like rushing of like, what are the things I need to grab? I grabbed 2 shoes that didn't match. I grab
The right feet, though?
the right feet, yeah, a
Okay.
left shoe and a right shoe. I grab a coat because it was December in central Illinois, so it was freezing outside. I grab my PS2 memory card because I was like, if everything,
The essentials.
You got to get the essentials.
I was like, if everything in this house fucking burns down, like we could replace everything. I can't
The
replace
insurance
memory.
cannot replace my progress.
Yeah, you cannot, you cannot
I'm fucking
replace.
Jack and Daxter.
You can't replace my creative character in Tony Hawk or like my progress in GTA or my creative wrestlers. So I grabbed my PS2 memory card and then my phone charger because I was like, I want to be able to charge my phone no matter what happens. And then went outside, called 911, and then they came through. They put the fire out. The thing that sucked about it is that the fire was on we lived in like a 2-story home.
Yeah.
The room was on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
And
so
so-
fucked up the floor below it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like-
You gotta gut the roof and all that, the ceiling and all that shit.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
when they put the fire out, like there was water damage
Ugh.
throughout.
Because they wet it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually I think one of the things they say about fires. Like when you get fire insurance, you also have to get make sure it covers water damage because people forget if the fire doesn't put itself out. You got to douse it with a shit ton of water, and
Yeah.
that destroys the floor and the ceiling. Like we actually, when I moved to my new place, 2 units. Someone above them had, I think one of them, someone had replaced the fridge filter incorrectly and they didn't realize that it had just been leaking constantly for like 2 months, and it just like molded the shit out of everyone's.
I don't know why I thought you said it was going to start a fire. It started a fire.
No, that'd be amazing. No,
I have to be scared of that now.
no.
I thought the exact same. I was like, oh no, I changed out the filter here.
No, yeah, it was something that someone did something stupid, and like it just did a ton of water damage, and it sucks so bad to get all that out because you got to gut all the drywall, you got to clean out the mold and like spray it down with shit, and then you have to bring in these industrial fans that like suck the humidity out of the air so that all the moisture comes out of all the wood and all the walls and all. It's terrible. And then you're displaced for a few weeks.
That's the thing. Well, we were displaced for maybe like a good 5 months, 6 months.
Takes forever to get.
They
that
had a
shit done.
lot of work to do on our house, and there's more lore dropping, I guess. We started off right after that. Like we lived in a hotel for about like a week or two. But after a while, like my mom was like, okay, well, we can't. Insurance is going to pay for us to live like outside of our home for forever.
Right.
So we got to figure out a cheaper alternative. And we were lucky that we had a family friend that was like basically an uncle to me. He had gotten deported not that long before this.
Shit, bless him.
And so
you moved into his place,
we
or
moved
what?
into his house.
Smart.
Yeah, we were like, oh, it worked out for us. We're gonna move into his house. Now this loops back to True Blood.
He didn't know.
I was like, how is this go to True Blood?
This is looping back to True Blood because when we moved into his house, we had to get like a new cable package, and that came with like the free extra
the
channels.
month of HBO.
Yeah, the month of
Dude,
HBO.
the month of HBO, the month of Showtime.
Yep.
I've never, as a kid who hated leaving his house and who just loved ordering a pizza and watching TV, I would hear my mom be like this, no, we're canceling. No, we're canceling. Okay, we'll take a free month of Showtime and HBO and all these things. And I'd be like,
let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. And so for that 1 month, like I watched so much Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb.
Like, that's how I got introduced to that show. I was like, oh man, these channels are off the chain. I believe True Blood was on one of those.
It
right?
was on HBO.
HBO. Yeah. So I like watched some True Blood, and it was eye opening because I was 14 and I had never seen like titties on the TV.
oh, boobs. Yeah.
And
HBO is all boobs.
The first episode starts with titties out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all boobs.
And I was like, oh snap! Like I've never seen this just on TV before. Me and Roger were talking about how like some channels during some times might have like
Skinamax.
is that what they call it? Skinamax?
Yeah, Cinemax used to have softcore
You never
porn.
heard Skinamax
and they
as
call
a
it
term?
Skinamax.
That actually sounds very familiar because
Yeah.
I was talking to him about the softcore porn that would just come on.
I'll never forget. I think it was HBO had something called the Red Shoe Diaries, and it was hosted. He wasn't in it. He just would bookend it. David Duchovny would just
What?
randomly. He would be reading the letters, the Red Shoe Diaries, and he'd be like, he has that weird, like, kind of boring sort of way. Scully, I'm talking to you like that, Scully. And he would just be like, he would read these sexual fantasies of these women out, and then you'd see the 30-minute long like sexual fantasy where it was people banging, and then he would come back and be walking down the street and be like, well, that's it for these Red Shoe Diaries. And it was like, I think it was around the time he did X-Files. So I was like, I'm so excited to watch David Duchovny in this, and every single night I'd watch it, I'd be like, this is porn.
From
Watch porn.
1992 to 1999.
Yeah, he
With
did,
David
and that
Duch-
was smack dab in the middle of, I think X-Files was 94 to 2002
with
or
David
something like that.
Duchovny, who was part of 66 episodes from 92 to 96.
He was the narrator. They just paid him to do softcore porn at night. And of course, then there's also everyone's favorite, as Greg will attest when he hears this tomorrow on the ride into work. I like to play games. There were movies like that would be on Skinamax where it was like
I like
not
to
a
play
good
games.
movie, but it was every other scene was a sex scene. So you're like, this is kind of softcore porn, but all you saw was boobs and maybe a little bit of like pubic hair, but
That's
not
the
much
other thing
else.
is, yeah, there would be like super violent movies and shit on that channel. Like,
yeah.
what was the movie? Actually, this might not have been one of the more violent ones, but like one that came on a couple of times I remember vividly was a Lindsay Lohan movie where
Where
she
she's
had
a stripper?
yes,
Yeah,
and
I
she
know
had
who
like a
killed me.
twin or something.
It's called I Know Who Killed Me.
Yeah, that came on a few times, and I was like,
Yeah.
I've never heard anybody talk about this movie, but that
It's
shit
a crazy
changed me.
movie.
I don't think
It
I've ever
is
seen
a
this movie.
crazy movie.
I just remember it being like violent and fucked up, and like watching it as a kid with no supervision because I had this channel, and my mom still like, my mom, she worked in like a whole town over, and she would come home real late, so it'd be me just alone all the time. So I'm just watching this shit.
Dude, that was my entire childhood.
Yeah.
Because your parents, like, they still to this day show you a rating. Even on Netflix, I think they show you a rating of like what this is supposed to be rated for, but nobody pays attention to it anymore. So like, unless you can set those barriers now for when you have kids. Like I imagine Greg has like barrier sets so Ben can't just click on fucking RoboCop and just be traumatized for the rest of his life. But even back then, my parents didn't give a fuck about that. If it was on before 11 o'clock, they just assumed it was okay for people to watch. And I'd be like, I'd watch everything. I mean, fucking every horrible 80s movie that you could imagine was always being syndicated.
I mean, like
What else
when I would
time?
wait for the ratings to pop up to be like, am I getting boobs tonight or not?
Oh,
And I
rated
would
R?
see
And then you'd see
adult
nudity?
themes, adult content, violence, and then I'd see no nudity and be like, damn it, maybe tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the next time you might see strong sexual content, nudity, like, holy shit, let's fucking
Let's go. Let's
and it's
go.
an
Pop in
episode
the
of
VHS.
and it's Real Sex episode 93, and it's all
all
about
dudes.
these 70-year-old hippies that
All-
are just like having their boobs and their dicks out.
Was
or,
was this was the TV in your room?
um,
Because the risk I was running was that the TV I was watching
No.
this stuff
Family
on,
room.
It was in the family room, like right at the entrance. And so I'm
Oh.
like, in my head, I'm like
you had to have
timing.
that last channel button ready. And
Oh
prepped.
yeah, I'm
Dude.
like, my mom comes home at 8 p.m., maybe 8:30. I have to like time it perfectly to where I'm watching the fucked up shit. But like, again, a lot of it comes on late at night.
Oh yeah.
I didn't
So
get
sometimes
cable.
I'm pushing it.
Yeah, I didn't get cable in my room until much later. So a lot of it was like on the weekends, if we were like had the Nintendo out in the living room, it's like, all right, everybody's asleep. Now's my chance, you know? But the like, dude, growing up, I had the old shitty TV in my room with the
Yep.
dial
Oh,
damn.
yeah.
to switch channels, and that's how I would watch Conan O'Brien every night. And it was like during the summers, Conan O'Brien was like the coolest shit you could possibly
Oh,
watch.
yeah.
It was nightly appointment viewing of like me and my brother wanted to see what Conan was doing tonight. It's so weird to think about. And that was like earliest days of like my memories of like actually going up to the TV to change to fucking channel, you know, because all the other TVs in the house
Had remotes.
were normal TVs
Yeah.
They would
with
do shit.
remotes. It was almost like exactly this one. It was so old, and it had the little bunny ears in the back that would,
Wait, how old were you?
I don't know, like maybe 6 or 7.
Okay, because
Oh,
I remember
wow.
having one of those TVs when I was like 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah, I was probably about 6 or 7, but this was one of those hand-me-down TVs that had been passed down way, like all the other TVs were just normal-ass TVs. I had this fucking ancient artifact in my bedroom.
Yeah, I think I had an RCA or something like that in my brother's room that we hooked up the Nintendo, like the NES and SNES to. And I remember being like, it was that shade of white plastic
Oh,
where
that
after a
yellow.
while
It
you go,
ages.
it just starts yelling. But then there's another one that was a different material that's like stark on it, so you could just so you could see how old it was and how
Yeah.
bad it was. But yeah, I remember. I mean, there's people over 40 will. I swear to God, they'll appreciate how good your hearing had to be back in the day. I think my hearing to this day is still great because my mother was such a light sleeper
Oh,
that anytime anything that I wanted to watch, like in a little bit of privacy down in the living room downstairs, I had to watch that shit. It was close to that. I had to watch that shit at like 3 volume, and then I'd hear her walking around. You'd pause or like change the channel real quick, and then you put it back in there. Because my mother to this day, vampire, never slept.
dude, my mom.
Fucking never slept.
That just
could
a
hear
mom
what was on
thing?
TV, and she would, if she knew something bad was on TV, I would hear the scream come. She'd be like, "Nikki, I know what you're watching down there. Don't do." I mean, sometimes I think she just did it because she was just to fuck with me.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't be watching TV. I'm like, okay, well, she's
Put
just
the fear of God in you.
Oh
though.
yeah, you gotta do that,
Dude, my mom the exact same, the lightest sleeper ever, and it doesn't help that my bedroom was right next to hers,
Tough.
and so I never had friends sleeping over because you just couldn't make noise, like, and then one of my older cousins who would like often sleep over when he went through puberty and his voice got deeper, and it was like
He's just loud.
no, not even loud, just like talking at a normal voice, at a quiet voice. The tenor of that
Travel.
would and my dad would be like open the door, he'd be like, Marco, you need to, Rosie, your Aunt Rosie can hear you, because like the bass of the voice would kind of
Yeah.
like go to the next room. It was impossible. I always wanted my house to like, yeah, let's have this be the hangout place, and I just never could because my mom was the lightest sleeper ever. And then when moving to the different house, same thing. Like I couldn't ever play games. The TV was always at the lowest it could possibly be. It annoyed the shit out of me, man. I feel like it deprived me of like the childhood I wanted.
I feel that.
Dude, I feel that so bad. Like we grew up in a track home and the walls were fucking paper thin. And even the doors were those like hollow ass doors.
Oh,
and
they're so light.
They're so light and just they didn't block any sound. The only upside was that if you were upstairs, sound didn't travel as good because it was all carpeted. Because I feel like they just don't carpet things anymore. But like,
I feel like they still carpet bedrooms.
do they? Maybe the bedrooms, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. But yeah, it was my house was the hangout house, but only when my parents went out of town.
Nick,
Our
did
neighbors
you
were
get
cool.
Did you get really really good at learning how to open and close doors?
The doors were never a problem, but I got really good at climbing up the sides of the stairs because the middle of the stairs creaked, but the
Oh.
sides of the stairs.
You just unlocked a memory. Holy shit.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
I remember
I think
being
I did
like,
the same exact thing.
because my mom would be pissed off if I stayed up too late, but she'd fall asleep, and I'm like, if I could just make it up the stairs, I can stay up till however late I need to.
Yeah.
And so I purposely put a lot of like weight on the railing and just walked right on the side of the railing just to get up the stairs, whisper quiet.
With us, you have to like, and I'm always so thrown off that nobody really grew up having to open and close doors that way. Like, you know, I live with
I have to do that now.
yeah, I mean, I live with like Barrett and Alyssa, and I'll still hear like tagoon, and like that's just a normal person opening and closing.
a door, yeah.
But for me, it's turn the knob first, then you push the door, and
push it
then you
open.
slowly
Yeah.
unlet.
Yeah,
So
and then
like
you
you
let it
don't
go.
get that kind of loud click or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that was another big thing of like, shh, your mom's asleep. Like, oh my god, dude. Because she also was on call at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
Oh.
like back when she was like going to college and also doing like the on-call nursing shit. And that was like, do not wake up your mom. She's on 3 hours of sleep. Like you were in for a world of hurt if you fuck this up.
Oh god, yeah. That makes,
Always terrifying.
But you know it's not terrifying, ladies and gentlemen. Our awesome sponsors. We're going to hear from them right now.
This episode is brought to you by Hims. Guys, sometimes intimate moments happen spontaneously, and we always want to be ready so we can perform in the bedroom. Hims has treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer, giving you that boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. Hims provides access to a range of doctor-trusted ED treatments such as chewable hard mints, proven treatments like Viagra and Cialis, or their generics for up to 95% cheaper. No insurance is needed. The process is simple and 100% online. No uncomfortable in-person visits necessary. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/kindafunny. That's HIMS.com/kindafunny for your personalized ED treatment options. Hims.com/kindafunny. The products mentioned are chewable compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety or effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions, details, and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan. This episode is brought to you by Aura Frames. Here's the thing about birthdays, they happen all year, which means there's probably someone you should be buying a gift for right now. Give them something really special with Aura Digital Frames. Aura Frames are easy to set up, update, and enjoy. Plus, Aura Frames can be preloaded with photos and gift messages, so whether you're giving the frame to your sister, grandma, or your mother-in-law, you can make sure that the gift is personalized just for them. Recently, I gave my partner Leanza an Aura digital frame as a gift for our 6th anniversary, and we both adore it. We love being reminded of some of our most special moments, and it always starts some of the best journeys down memory lane. Right now, Aura is having their very first Friends and Family sale, and we've got an exclusive offer just for our listeners. For a limited time, you can get $35 off their best-selling frame by visiting auraframes.com and using promo code KINDAFUNNY. That's AURA frames.com, promo code KINDAFUNNY. This is the best offer of the season, so don't miss out. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we're back.
I had a very different experience. I feel like my parents have always been like pretty heavy sleepers. Even to this day, my dad is still like, there was one time where we had like 60 girls having a sleepover at my parents' house. My dad just like slept through the entire thing.
That's a superpower.
It's insane because my
I-
parents' bedroom was right above our living room, which is like where most of the shenanigans. And my mom kept going upstairs and like checking, like, is he mad? Is he upset? And no, just knocked out.
Nuts.
Dude, if I could change one thing about my body, I'd be 6'4". If I could change another one, I'd have full head of hair.
Mm-hmm.
Third thing, I
Third
would be in
thing.
my early 30s again. But fourth thing,
Mm-hmm.
fourth down the lineup, I wish I could just go to sleep and sleep through anything. I'm such a light sleeper, and I get in my head about it. And if I think I'm not going to sleep tonight, I just won't go to sleep. But then I have like
That's
my
I'm the same way.
wild.
dude. My brother is polar opposite. We'll be watching an action movie. It'll be 10 o'clock, and he's like, and I'll have to nudge him like, shut up, go to bed, shut up.
I mean, I was always the last kid to fall asleep at the sleepovers. I hated it. Oh man.
And then you
I
wake up
just-
the next morning groggy as shit.
Well, I mean, it wasn't even that. It was just like I'd be 10 years old at my friend's house and everybody else is asleep and his parents are asleep and it's 4 a.m. and I'm like, I feel like I'm going to be here forever.
Yeah,
Like-
this night's never gonna end.
Like, I don't know what to do right now. You know what I mean? Because I just couldn't sleep. And, you know, they would be snoring. It's like, man, I wish I could just be the first one to knock out. Never could. I'll tell you what, though.
You don't want to be the first
Maybe-
one.
I was just going to say, see a doctor about Lexapro. Like, Lexapro has helped me out a lot with, like,
Just
calming
put you
the
to bed.
anxiety at night. And
Yeah,
just
maybe.
knocking out.
Maybe I need it. I mean, I just
Probably
wish I
better
could take
option
something
speed.
that would alter, that would just flip the little switch in my brain so that when because I'm tired, and sometimes I go like I just
You fight
want to
it,
go to
though.
bed, but then I'll hear something in the middle of the night, it'll wake me up, and then I'll just be up for an hour or two, or I'll have to go out to the kitchen and there are nights where I'll wake up because we have like a kid above us, and he'll run into his mom's room for a nightmare or something like that, and I'm like, oh, I'm up now, and I'll have to go out and watch Netflix for a few minutes just to like calm back down and then get back to that level. I've actually started watching. This is the worst thing possible, but I've actually tried to train myself to like wake up. If I wake up, immediately just start whatever episode of fucking Louder Milk or whatever dumb show on Netflix I'm watching, and then I'll doze back off.
Louder milk.
What is that?
Dude. Because you know how I have awesome taste.
You just watch shit.
Uh-uh.
You just turn shit
But
on.
nothing that's ever good or that we're asking you to watch.
That was like one of the test names are kind of funny.
Here's what happened. Joey, you know I'm a huge fan of Sex in the City.
Yes.
You know, one of my favorite arcs is the
Mhm.
Ron Livingston season,
Yeah.
where he breaks up with her with a Post-it note.
It's tragic.
Tragic, but one of the best like Carrie moments where she like sees
Yeah.
the friends and she's like, he broke up with a fucking Post-it, and like
Like,
lights them
slams it
up,
into the
and then
taxi
she like
window.
yeah, she goes fucking nuts and then gets out from the
Mhm.
cop. She gets out to get a ticket because the cop, she shows him the note. Anyway, I'm like, man, I love Ron Livingston. Like, I want to see more of him. And then this Louder Milk show pops up, and I'm like, well, that looks terrible. I bet I can only get through one episode of that. And I'm halfway through season 2. It's not good, but it is interesting. It's a cast of characters that you just kind of stick with. I don't know. It's an interesting
That's
concept.
like how I started watching the Mindy Project about a year ago.
Yes.
For like a second time because I watched it when it first came out. And I was like, oh yeah, I've heard this hasn't aged well. I heard it's not good. I started watching. I was like, oh fuck, they got me.
Well, the Mindy Project is, I think, way back. I mean, I legitimately liked the Mindy
Yeah.
Project. Like, I watched it maybe like last year, and I can understand there's some stuff in it. Mindy's humor has some edge to it. We'll just put it that way. But I think the dynamic and her with everyone else was great. This one is like, he plays one of those characters that's so hard to like that you're almost like, I wonder if I actually wanted people to like this show, because Ron Livingston's like an asshole because he's a recovering alcoholic and he's just had a hard life and this and that. And so you almost hate
In the
him.
show?
Yeah, in the
Okay.
show. But then his best friend's Will Sasso, and he reminds me of my brother a little bit. So
Man,
like-
he really does.
yeah, dude, I'm telling you. So I think that's the hook where I was like, oh, I miss my brother, so I'll watch this show. And I'm just kind of into it now. It's not great, but it's serviceable. But I haven't. This is me, Andy. It's gonna piss you off. I watched one episode of the new House of the Dragon.
I hate you so
Not
much.
one episode. And also, just want to point out, as you guys were talking and I wasn't paying attention, Kit Harington joined industry in season 3.
Oh, so it's this season.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
that's why I was like, I don't remember him in the show at all. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would have remembered him in season 1.
Yeah, because it was a bunch of people that I was not aware of. when I
No,
watched
yeah, a
in
bunch of
season
no
one.
names.
Well, I'll
Those are
tell you
great.
how you would have known about this appearance by watching fucking House of the Dragon, Nick. Okay.
They
You watch
would've-
House of the Dragon, they were showing that fucking promo before every episode, and I was
Was
like,
it the one where it goes blurry and then comes into focus? And
a lot of shaky cam, just a lot of like.
this season on industry.
Well, I don't know.
money.
It's just kind of like a little hype trailer, and it's they cut to one scene. It's like, no, we're not going to make that deal. They cut to another scene. It's like, so you're really into her, huh? It's just like all those different like sequences of like, here's kind of what encapsulates this whole show. It's like, oh, fucking Jon Snow's on this. Awesome, like good for him.
Yeah.
But
He
I
must be a psycho.
had no idea this show existed prior to this year.
I've thought about watching House of the Dragon. I've not watched Game of Thrones because like Game of Thrones was never my like type of show to
It's not
watch.
mine either.
You're not a
Yeah.
big fantasy guy.
I'm not a big fantasy guy.
Okay.
Is that
Don't high five
Let's
each
go.
other. Yeah, let's not watch some of the best media ever. Yeah,
It's
high
just, you
five.
know, this is-
How
I
much
mean,
did you
it-
bitch about that
it's all
last
this-
season?
when you've
Celebrate
seen
it.
one, you see, I've seen.
Andy,
You
the
know,
last 3 seasons are terrible. Come on, you gotta admit that. To
I'm,
yourself.
I'm talking about Game of Thrones, just like Lord of the Rings.
I mean,
yeah,
I watched all the
Snooze
Harry Potter
fest.
movies. I feel like it's all the same, you know.
yeah.
Okay,
that's
well,
fair.
different
Oh,
vibe,
it's
but
all
still good. you know?
Goblins and orcs.
They just
and
walk
wizards.
so much. They're just walking.
Okay, Nick.
I mean, Nick
I
from
know
5 years
literally
ago.
nothing else about this, so that's all I got.
But no, I
Pretty
thought about it
incredible.
because I've had the same thing where I'm like, I don't know what to watch. Like I watched like all of Smiling Friends in the last week. So
That's
I'm
supposed
like,
to be really good.
yeah. Oh, it's very funny. I've been putting it off forever because I wasn't paying for Max. I've like been trying to not pay for the like
Every streaming
subscription
service.
services because
Yeah.
they're all like increasing in price and I was paying for a lot of them. So I was like, you know what, cutting all this shit out and then only paying for them in like when a
First.
batch of shows.
When
Yeah,
you want something. Yeah, like
when
I think
want to
we-
watch like 5 shows on one service at a
that's
time.
smart, man. You know, the kicker of it all is like I forget I have Amazon Prime. You can never get rid of it, but I'm too cheap to pay for non-ad viewing. So now everything I watch on Amazon Prime has
Oh,
fucking ads in
yeah.
it.
You know, but
Same.
I don't mind it. I think
It's only
we
at the
bring back the
beginning.
commercial.
Yeah.
There's
Let's bring
something
it back.
comforting about it, right?
It was nice during Invincible, like, and even the boys. Oh, commercial break. Let me look at my phone.
get up or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Let me go pee
nonsense.
real
I
quick.
hate
Yeah.
it.
Put my
So
I
much.
might be with you on
Come
that
back.
one.
I'm like, man, the show's already back. Let's go back to commercial. You know what I mean?
What was I watching recently that had that? Yeah, it might have been The Boys actually. It might have been The Boys where I was like, oh, a little break. I get up and go to the
Nice.
bathroom now.
Yeah,
It kept me from pausing it. It was pretty
feels good.
Nick, can I interest you in Dropout TV?
What is Dropout TV?
It is
Oh, boy.
a subscription service.
Okay.
It is what College Humor evolved
Oh,
into.
yes. Okay.
Yeah, where a lot of it now is like D&D focused, but also improv comedy focused.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, somewhat kind of funny as far as like them having a
Is it-
rotation of
Is
personalities.
Iffy doing something with
Iffy,
them?
yeah.
Yeah. Iffy.
I'm
I talked to him. He was on my show at in Comic-Con.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he popped in for a set. Mark, he had a wild, kind of crazy time with his car, but he got there, he made it there, and I got a chance to hang out with him in the green room for a little bit and catch
So,
up with him.
Dropout is like, I think, thrown off a lot of my TV watching because now when I feel like I'm in the mood to watch something, I'll usually just watch a Dropout show.
Okay.
They have a bunch of different shows. Actually is the one that Iffy hosts.
Okay.
Which is they'll have a bunch of guests on. It's a game show and they'll have prompts that pop up and there's something wrong with it. And so like they'll give you like a
Oh, that's
fun
kind of genius.
yeah, like a
It's
fun
really
fact about
fun.
Star Trek, but like one of the things is wrong. And then the contestants have to like buzz in and guess like what is the thing that's wrong about
Oh,
this
that's
phrase.
like fucking addictive.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
very good. Like very simple concept, very good. They have Game Changers, which is another game show they have where the show starts and the contestants don't know the rules at the start of the show. They have to learn what the rules
That's
are
awesome.
for that specific game as it goes. And like as the seasons have gone, they've gotten like more crazy and more dynamic. One of the ones they had recently was like the buzzers that they use to buzz in. Like the ones that they start to show off with will work once, but then they have buzzers that are hidden all throughout the studio that they have to like, they'll ask a question and they have to like run and find like, all right, fuck, where's the buzzer? And like it gets more ridiculous as the episode goes
That's
on, where they'll
amazing.
like open a door and there's just a witch. And like you have to like get the ingredients for the witch's cauldron to like mix up and then that'll get you a buzzer. Or like there's another one where there's a camera that's like set up outside with a microphone that you can talk into to like talk to people outside, and there's a buzzer outside that you're trying to get pedestrians to like buzz for you to buzz
That's
in and answer the
ridiculous.
question.
That's ridiculous.
It's very elaborate and
Yeah.
also very well produced. And every episode is like this. Like every episode has some different sort of setup, some different scenario that makes it way different, and they go so hard. But that's Game Changers, which is awesome. They have, not feel like I'm doing a commercial for Dropout, but they have I forget what the show is called, but essentially the setup of it is like it's more of a panel discussion, like hangout sort of show where and chat can let me know what the name of the show is. They'll have people submit like fun facts about themselves, usually stuff that's like either incriminating or like embarrassing, right? And they'll read out the thing of like, oh, when this person was in 3rd grade, they shat their pants or some shit. And they have to go through and guess who the person who submitted that thing was. And if you can guess, you get points. And if you're able to avoid people guessing you, then you get points too. But it's a lot of shows like that, and it's all very entertaining. And their personalities are fantastic.
Is this an app that you can use, or do you have to do like online?
It's a streaming service. They have some
Okay,
of
so
the
it's like a-
stuff
okay.
uploaded to YouTube, but like to the majority of their content is on the Dropout service. And you're paying like, I think like $5 a month or something like that for
It's
it.
not bad.
Yeah. And the content's really good.
I'll
I see
check it
so
out.
much of it on TikTok.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Dirty Laundry. Thank you, chat.
I see a lot of it on TikTok.
It's perfect TikTok content when they break it up for me.
Let's talk about Dropout and how they also do like a lot of D&D stuff. Nick, when are we gonna do another D&D thing?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I pitched that to Tim, and he was just like, "It's so hard to fit that into like our normal." I'm just totally like, deflecting it off on Tim right now.
Yeah, of course.
I would love to do another
Like,
one.
how
That
was
was
that
that was
fun?
really really fun. It was a lot of work, but it was so fun.
I mean, say the word. I'll go on break for Game Showdown for you.
Kevin,
For
can you
D&D.
link up when you get a
We'd have
chance?
to do-
I'm trying to find a break for Game Showdown. That shit is intensive.
I'm
I know
sending,
you guys do a great job with it. Though.
I'm sending through a link to assets right now. There's a video I saw over the weekend. It's Deborah Ann Wool, who is
from True Blood.
yes. I shared this with a bunch of
from
friends.
True Blood. Sure,
Oh,
Daredevil's where I
is
know her
John
from.
Bernthal.
And yeah,
Nice,
it's her
yeah,
conversation with John Bernthal about how she got a really good side gig just doing D&D stuff, and really, really cool to kind of see him be like, wait, so you make money? She's like, yeah, I'll create stories and people will hire me to be their dungeon masters or whatever. But this video is so fantastic. It's a minute long. I don't know if we have to watch all of it, but if you
watch
could
a
just
little
play,
bit.
this is really, really cool.
You want to play
Also,
D&D?
Deborah Ann
This
Wall,
is the best
True Blood.
introduction to tabletop
full
RPGs
circle.
I've ever seen.
I don't know what Dungeons
Wait,
and
what's-
Dragons. Like I don't. It's like a game, but like you
Like,
imagine
yeah.
you're like in the game, right?
Yeah.
And I think we've all been in this position before.
And you tell the story.
Yeah, I'm a dungeon master. So generally, I've written an arc and created a world, and then players explore it.
So initially, Wall handles it pretty much the way I think a lot of us would. And it's all super well said and heartfelt. But then watch what she does.
You want to play D&D?
I mean, I'll try. I mean, what do you think?
No,
I'd
like
be able to do it?
literally right now.
Sure.
All right. So let's see. You've got a bow strapped to your back, a sword and a dagger at your
Okay.
hilt, right? So
Your
you're walking
profile's so
through the
fucking
woods.
cool.
It's dark. It's at night.
This is so sick.
Almost no moonlight is coming through. You hear a crack off in the distance. Something large stepped on a branch. What would you do?
First thing. How far away is the crack?
That's so smart. Why explain the game when you can just show it to somebody?
That's so
And
cool.
the rest of it is like,
Him play.
is him going, well, okay, how far away is it? She goes, okay, we'll roll for perception. We'll do a perception check. And he goes, what's that? He goes, you roll the die and it lands here. You're a really perceptive character. So you find out it's 20 feet away. And he's like, okay,
That's close.
so what do you do now? He goes, I bust out my bow and I'm like going to get ready to maybe shoot it. She goes, and then she's like, and out comes a giant owl bear, massive creature. What do you do? And he goes, have I ever met an owl bear? And she goes, we could do a history check. So you roll and you say, have you ever encountered an owl bear before? And it's just so cool. And the way this creator, by the way, whose name is Ryan Emil DM, the way he breaks it down is also just really sick of like, this is the most genius way to show somebody who's never experienced this before. Let's just play it right now. And it's so freaking cool to experience John Bernthal being like, oh shit, I just played a little like mini one shot, which took like 3 minutes or whatever, for something that is so hard to explain to people.
Yeah.
To just kind of immediately get, and he's like, well, why would I? So you want to be bad at stuff? She's like, yeah, you want to have a character because you have enough points that you can only put into certain things.
Right.
You don't want to make a character that's all powerful because you want flaws. And because so is the point to win? She's not. It's just tell a great story. You just want to experience an awesome story, and you need some flaws, and you need your character to like be better in some situations than others. It was just really, really damn cool. I was like, God, man, I missed playing that one time of D&D.
It was, I mean, honestly, it was really fun. And shout out to Sage and to my buddy Riley for coaching me through those things. And Sage Ryan was just like super nice with her time, training me how to do these things. But I think that was the thing that kind of clicked for me, was they were both like, there's no winning this game. It's we all win if we enjoy the shared narrative that we're creating. So you don't need to feel competitive with the dungeon master. You need to feel like you're actually like on the ride and submitting to the story and trusting them that they're going to give you a cool adventure and you're all going to be a part of that. And it was super, super fun. I think we could do it. I don't know that we can go as hard as we did before, because I feel like you want to, there's a competitive part of me that's like, I want it to be the best as humanly possible. And that was just a lot of prep that went for that. But if we had something simpler where we could just run a weekly for like 6 weeks or something like that, where it's just a game that
I mean,
keeps
that would
going,
be my pitch, right?
that
Of,
would be
like,
really cool.
If you can turn it into like a 6-week thing and have it be, because when you did it last time for Fast and Furious, that was a long one, right? Wasn't that like
3 hours?
We did 3 hours, and then I think we did I think because we hit a milestone, we did like a post-credit sequence
Yeah.
with it, which was kind of fun and baked into that. But
Because like if you, I mean, if you took that and went, actually, let's do it for 40 minutes or maybe an hour
Right.
a week, I feel like that's more manageable.
That's definitely manageable, but I don't think it's manageable in that. Like, we'd have to back off the production value of it by about 80%. It would have to just be basically like a background and us sitting at a table, and the majority of the entertainment would need to be coming from just the shared narrative, which I think most of them are. But I mean, you see the studio and you see the lights and stuff, and me and Kevin get lost in our Duffy of being like, what if we had a choo-choo train with smoke and all these things? And it's super fun
The
to
grapple
do that.
sound effects.
Yeah, which is awesome. And that's stuff that we could also, we could bake in. But I just think like, there you go.
Still prepped.
Still awesome. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed writing the narrative. I enjoyed dumbing it down so that people could understand it. And it would be fun to actually do real like Dungeons and Dragon rules.
Yeah.
But it also takes a commitment from like everyone on it to be like, you have to be on this every week. You have to understand how this game works and like be rolling perception checks and not just because we just did like 1 20-sided die for everything. It's like, did it work or didn't work? And that was just basically to get you guys in the game and not feel you bogged down by the actual like constructs of it. I'm not looking so much at you, I'm more looking at like Mike, I mean, like, is Mike really going to understand this stuff? Is he going to use
Mike's
his
head
glasses?
pops up from the couches off the screen.
My commitment is everything. Like about a year and a half ago or a year or so ago, I did a Blades in the Dark campaign with some friends, which is a different tabletop role playing game.
Yeah,
but it's a bit more like simplified compared to D&D, and the setting is a bit more like steampunkish. Like I would compare it to either like Dishonored or like maybe like more Bloodborne leaning, as opposed to like the high fantasy of D&D.
Shit.
And that one, like, I think we got maybe a good 4 or 5 sessions in, but like we still had a lot more story left to tell, but like people just drop off.
Yeah, that's the problem. And I've seen that with like the groups that when I went and sat on a couple games, it was like, you have to be careful because people have lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're especially doing this stuff like Riley would run it at our jiu-jitsu gym like after Thursday night practice. And so people would come over like 9 o'clock. And so you'd go from like 9 to midnight, but that's a commitment with everyone had kids and stuff, and you have to clear it with your wife and be all cool with that.
I've been even managing my time like nowadays. Like right now, my Tuesdays are committed to kickball, right? Or
That's
usually,
one night of the week, right?
Usually, so one day
God.
now, my week is usually either kickball or soccer or some sport.
Yeah.
And it's wild how much that does take out of my week, right? Where it's like, oh, that's one day. Now I have one less day for groceries or like playing video games.
Friday
or
and Saturday,
laundry.
maybe you're out drinking. Like I didn't have a show last Saturday night. It was the first Saturday in like 4 weeks that I haven't had something to do. And my buddy Austin didn't either. My buddy Austin, who I've done comedy with forever, he's my producing partner. He didn't have a show either. And so on Friday night, I was like, what we should do? We should just like get together and grab some dinner. And he goes, that sounds awesome. And then 8 o'clock rolled around on Saturday. I was like, we really dropped the ball on that one, did he? Goes, I'm so fucking tired. I don't want to go out. I don't want to leave. You know what I'd love to do actually is, and maybe this is a terrible idea, but I have all my old. I would love to like do a Robotech RPG game, like a campaign. So this was a series that I loved when I was a kid, and they came up with the tabletop RPG for it, and it would be really interesting to do because you guys are not familiar with the original Macross Saga. Just literally write a campaign that's the first 33 episodes of the TV show, and like get you all through it as the characters, and see if you'd be into that. That'd be interesting.
Because we wouldn't know like the arcs and everything.
Because you don't know the arcs, so you
yeah.
don't know what happens. But I could do the major plot points of like the attack on Mars base, and then like that could be interesting.
See, something like that I'd be interested in, because I think for me, again, going back to the high fantasy thing, right? Like that's why D&D typically hasn't been as engaging for me. But like I saw Sage did a totally spies campaign,
so cool,
and I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
like if you can find like a world or like some kind of system that is more, I guess, more engaging, right? Like even if
who
I was
did the
watching
one in the mall, the zombies in the mall, was that RT?
Zombies in the Mall.
No, right when I was researching,
RT
someone was
has like the Stinky Dragon podcast.
Someone did an 80s like Dawn of the Dead version of this, where it was like you're stuck in an 80s mall, and you just had to build your characters and try to survive like the zombie onslaught.
That's awesome.
That was a great idea.
I was watching Teen Titans
Maybe
last
Funhouse?
night, and I had like the same like idea of like, man, a Teen Titans RPG would be sick.
For the last 2.5 or maybe 3 years by this point, maybe it's been like 2.5 or so. Alana had approached. I don't even know if this is still a secret or not. I don't know if it was ever meant to be like super under wraps. But so sorry, Alana, if I'm breaking any trust. But she was trying to do a Dark Souls tabletop D&D style game.
That's cool.
And asked me to be in it. It was me, Tamor Hussein, Rahul Kohli, Jacob Fullerton were all supposed to do this
that'd been so fun.
this D&D thing with her, and she had a DM, but that the DM lived in like New Zealand or something, and it was probably Australia, honestly.
Probably makes sense.
A lot more sense, yeah.
All right, you never know.
But they were like just on a completely different like time zone or whatever, and so we could never get the times right of this person actually showing up to do the DMing for us. So every 6 months or so, this Twitter thread will kind of DM thread will get reignited, and she'll be like, it might happen in the next, everybody kind of stay tuned. We might actually start doing, and then it never happens. And then 6 months go by, and it's like, I want to do it so bad.
Yeah.
I so badly want to be a part of this, and so I'm just like hoping that I could like speak it into existence now.
God, that'd be fun. I know that's the goal. That's the ideal, is to have someone come and do everything for you, and then you just get to be a player on one of these things. It'd be so fun because the DMing is fun. It is, but it's all the work, really. Like at the end of the day, when you're the character, you just get to show up with your dice and kind of be a part of the narrative and have fun. It's really for you. Like everyone that I talked to that was like, we run these games, they're like, man, they're kind of like a single parent. They're getting put out a lot. You're gonna get all the kids that you have to take care of and stuff like that. But I'll think about it.
I want to reason
talk to
buy
Tim when
dice.
he's back in.
See, I don't want to play because I can't afford another expensive ass hobby like dice collecting.
Are you kidding me? I'm prepping for this. And I was like, baby, I got to go run some errands. It was Sunday. And she goes, where are you going? I'll go with you. I was like, no.
Don't worry about it.
I was like, don't worry. I was like, I'm like, you do you. She's like, but we have, like I said, Sundays and Saturdays the only time we have to go. She goes, I'll go with you. Where are you going to go? I was like, I have to go to a place called Gamescape. Okay. And I have to look at their dice and their things. And she was like, oh, I'm coming with you. She's like, oh, I'm coming with you on this one. And she was like, you were so cute in there. Because I literally reverted back to myself in junior high. I was like looking at the dice and I was like, that's too expensive. I'm a 44-year-old man that owns a company. And I was like, I think $20 on dice is too much to spend. I got to buy just the normal dice.
Oh my gosh. I've been looking at the $250 sets with the liquid cores
weighted ones,
and stuff like that, and just like,
if you guys could run a campaign in any universe you wanted to, it sounds like you would do.
Robotech would be fun. I don't know that you guys would like thinking about that. I think it's not accessible enough to you because you have to be a really big fan of something. That'd be like if Andy did a Gundam for me, and I'd be like, I don't really understand the universe, so I might not be into it. For me, I would pick, like, honestly, a rad one to do, and it's just because now it's kind of relevant right now, would be somewhere in the Aliens,
that'd be
like
fun.
or Predator universe, where you're like, I pitched an idea.
If you're stuck on a ship.
Well, I pitched an idea in the this would be interesting. I pitched an idea during the Twitch stream because someone was like, "Hey, what would your ideal like crossover be for an AVP movie?" And I was like, "Actually, it wouldn't be an AVP movie. It would be an Alien versus Blade Runner because they're in the same universe. So something in there where like you're a Blade Runner or you're a group of like mercenaries that has to go to this big like space station that's like a city that's been overrun by like rebels who have taken it over, and like there's like a rebel group that's taken it over, but then because they were doing these experiments with the aliens, so half of it's aliens, half of it's the rebels, and maybe a predator shows up to hunt people too, and you're stuck in the middle of that, and you have to either get out or do these like smaller side quests to like get more money or whatever.
The aliens could be the White Walkers in this story, where it could be political crimes, and it's the Game of Thrones intrigue of all these different factions warring with each other over.
Like you have the military guys that are there, you have the factions that have taken over, like half of the city's that, half of the city's this. You're in the middle of it, and in the middle of that is where the aliens are starting to pop up and kill you. That
and
could be
that's the
super
bigger
fun.
threat is on the horizon. It's
and
like,
they won't, but they don't believe you that it's happening. But you know what I mean? It's like, oh god, this is horrible. I just love that ice. I need to play Alien Isolation. I really do.
Oh yeah.
We gotta make that a stream.
Game.
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, we should do that.
That'd be
soon.
such a great stream game.
Mike. Of course he'll have to room.
Of course he's gone. I want a similarly horror, maybe like a Scream based.
Oh,
thing.
that could be fun.
I don't know how exactly that works, but something creepy and horror. I
You
think
could do
it
a murder
was,
mystery one. Yeah.
That'd be sick. I like the
Alex
idea
J.
of
Sandoval
non-combat.
earlier, I think, said like a Saw one where like you're trapped in this room and how do you
that's
get out,
cool.
kind of a thing.
Oh, that's
that'd
pretty
be
fun.
really cool.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
J6's Jurassic Park could be fun too. That could be a fun
Ooh.
universe.
I had friends that did a Pokemon D&D campaign, and I want to do that so bad. Like,
Oh, that'd be fun.
go out, collect a team of Pokemon, and like actually role play in that world with a bunch of people. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Mike,
An Ocean's 11 one would be
Michael.
fun.
put it down on the list. I want to do an Alien Isolation stream with you in October.
He's excited.
That's a good
Very
one. That's a
excited.
real good one.
That's a
People
fun
will
one.
love that.
Because I didn't realize how closely that was tied into Alien. I don't think I paid attention to the story behind that, but it's pretty cool.
Did you see the Fide was like, "Oh, if I do Aliens versus Predator, I want to do it with Dan Trachtenberg."
Yep, he wants to co-direct it
So
with the guy that
that'd
did
be
Prey.
so fucking cool.
That's probably going to happen because Alien,
yeah.
as I think the last I looked, was #1 in the box office. It's
Yeah.
doing very, very well. And thank you to everyone who finally listened to me and got off your duffs and went out and saw Alien Romulus because it rocks. Roger did it
I
twice.
want to watch it so bad.
I think I'm gonna go this.
Go
week.
see it in the IMAX if
Yeah,
you can.
No,
No. Joe's
I'm
like,
not
"Hard
going
to."
downtown.
I think I'm gonna go to the theater down the street.
Yeah.
is my plan.
Fair enough. The IMAX I just say because it's cool because it was shot in it wasn't shot in IMAX, but I think they shot it in 4:3 and then I'm just center cropped it for the other ones, but it was really, really cool.
I knew it had to go on my list when Roger came in the next morning and said that they had nightmares about it. I was like, oh, I gotta go see this
awesome.
as soon as possible.
I think it's less scary and more freaky, if that helps.
less
That helps me a
less
lot.
scary, more freaky.
It's not super jump scary.
I heard
It's
there's
more-
like one jump scare.
There's like one or two.
Yeah.
There's a couple. But, it's a Fede Alvarez movie.
Yeah.
But it's less that and more don't breathe, which is
Love
like
it.
you're in a spot and it's quiet
Tension.
and you know something's out there and it's just
the
tense as fuck.
little sprinkles of sound.
The movie starts like in a very traditional Alien way
Yeah.
where it is fucking dead silent.
Hell yeah.
And there's nothing that gives me more anxiety than sitting in the theater and there's no sound
Waiting
coming out.
for the thing.
Because it starts
Mm-hmm.
like the other Alien movies where it's just like you just see a ship and it's like dead silent, dead silent, dead silent. And man, when you can hear people crinkling wrappers and someone like the straw going into the
Yeah.
plastic, you're starting to white knuckle
I hate
your
that
chair.
sound
You're
so
like,
much.
what is happening here? What's going to jump out at me? But yeah, it's very good. Not a perfect movie, but very, very fun.
Star Wars: The Acolyte canceled after 1 season.
Star Wars
Hot
are
Manny Jacinto got canceled.
Yeah, breaking
Tragic.
news.
Star Wars D&D would be fun too.
Ooh, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, you'd have to make sure people weren't like Jedis though, or maybe everyone's a Jedi with different power sets. Maybe that's a good look. I've always wanted to be the change I want to see in the world, and I've often said I was like the Jedis all having the same powers or nebulous powers is a big misstep for Star Wars. So maybe you make people roll and have classes of Jedi.
That'd be cool.
Weaknesses
Well,
like
where
I'm
it's like
allergic
some-
to eggs. and
Yeah, well,
cats.
you just have your heavy that's like really good with a blade, right? You have the guys that are really good at like the mental aspect of it, of like convincing people, but they're maybe not so good at fighters.
Telepathy.
Yeah, people that have foresight, shit like that. I don't know. You
Is that,
break
the
them
right,
into
is
the
that the right
classes.
term, telepathy, or what's
Telepathy is like I can talk to you in your
what's
brain.
the movement with where you can make things
telekinesis?
Telekinesis, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the cool shit. That's the stuff I want.
Infinity
Oh, yeah.
Corpses I've done, Star Wars D&D. It's cool. Very cool.
I feel like a Star Wars party would consist of only one Jedi and then like a scoundrel.
But then this is the problem. How do you not just have the Jedi do everything?
And how's a Jedi just not like the star of the show?
Yeah, right.
I know you just almost.
He can be a
it's gonna be
Padawan.
it's gonna be a really fun time for one person, and then all the other people are just like, "Fuck this guy."
Well,
Also,
you
Jedi
gotta-
not getting laid though. Like
That's true.
That is true.
And you
about it.
can't romance someone into
Yeah.
giving him the secrets. But
exactly.
you can always just do that shit. That shit. I don't know. You'd have to put some constraints on it. You'd have to make the Jedi like.
For audio listeners, he
Padawan?
did the Jedi hand wave mind
Sorry
trick
about
thing.
that, everyone. Here, I'll do it on
Yeah.
the mic. There
You
you go.
rub the mic.
That could be fun. That would be a fun intellectual exercise to see how to make a ensemble group like that in a Star Wars like show work. And you could probably beta test that with the D&D game and say, hey, is this fun for everyone to be these characters that are like one would be a bounty hunter, so you'd be a badass like Mandalorian style bounty
Scoundrel,
hunter.
or-
You'd have one
yeah.
that's like the pilot, scoundrel, rogue, thief, and then you'd have to have your. That's the problem is like the Jedi can do all that shit. Like Luke Skywalker could do all of that. So
You could also just have no Jedi.
but you probably have to have no Jedi, and then
Yeah.
you come up against the Jedi, and you go, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Maybe it's a heist story, and you have to steal from a Jedi, or you have to steal from like the Jedi Temple or something like that. That
Does
could
this
be
not
interesting.
exist? This sounds like something.
I probably stole it from somewhere.
Yeah, you're just describing Andor.
Well, there's also Smuggler's Run.
What's that?
That's the
The ride.
Right.
I thought
but,
you meant
like-
Smuggler's Cove. That's a really good bar in San Francisco. It's pirate themed.
I feel like I've been.
You have. We've all been to that. It's down in Hayes Valley.
I've been
Oh
requested.
yeah, I've definitely
Maybe
been.
Space Jam RPG.
I've been requested a lot
Everybody
today to do a reading of a very popular tweet that happened earlier this morning.
Sure.
Did see it.
This is from the Michael Caine,
Oh, okay.
the real Michael Caine tweeted
You know
this
what?
out.
This is how scared I just got. I put one tweet out today about where Mike and I going down to host the grand opening for the Razor store in San Jose. Hey everyone, Saturday 11 a.m. RSVP at kindoffunny.com/razor if you guys want to come join us, see us live in person. It's gonna be great. But I thought I misspelled something in that.
No,
just now.
no,
And I was
no,
like,
no.
shit, what did I say? I gotta go edit that tweet.
No, it was 11 hours ago. A tweet popped up from the Michael Caine official Twitter account.
Mhm.
I'm going to read it word for word,
Please do.
verbatim. All right.
I'm gonna close my eyes.
Why do we fall? So we can learn to pick ourselves up. Batman Begin.
Batman Begin? What? Not begins? Begin?
No, but also the quote's just
Kinda
like
works.
raw.
It works.
It's like not even like the real full quote. It's just like a kind of little amalgamation of it, right? But also the Batman Begin is what just kills me.
That's such an old man thing
I
to
love
do.
Michael
That's
Caine.
Did
such something I would
anything
do.
spur this tweet or just?
No,
No?
I don't think
Okay.
so.
He just remembered saying that line and was like, dope. I'm gonna fill that
He's
out.
like,
I
"Oh,
bet.
fine."
The tweet before that was August 16th. Congratulations to all those who got the exam results they hoped for. Those that didn't, the best is yet to come. Very nice to
Really nice
college
thing to say.
graduates. And before that was, we will always have Paris.
Oh.
And
classic.
before that was,
We'll always have
beautiful
Paris?
Paris.
Like, he was probably at the Olympics.
And before
He was
that
thinking
was,
of Paris Lily.
give peace a chance.
Hey, that's a good
I
saying.
love the way this guy, on August 7th, he tweets, calm down.
What happened?
Was that the
So
Trump
he's-
shooting? What was on
What
August
happened
7th?
on
I don't
August
know.
7th?
I don't
might have
know
been the
who
Trump shooting.
tweeted like
no,
this.
that was
No, that was
long
longer.
ago.
Yeah,
God, was that longer ago?
that was like July.
A month ago.
Also,
I
just
think.
like a really bad screenshot, like a photo of a photo
Yeah,
of
him on set.
playing as
Incredible.
Alfred with the quote, "Alfred was all right, wasn't he?"
I mean, he was. I mean, he's not wrong on any of these, right? And to be fair, one could argue that Batman did in fact begin
He did, yeah.
at that quote. Why
You're
do
right.
We, why do we
Batman
fall, Mr.
Begin.
Wayne?
Yeah,
Yeah, Batman
DC
begin.
Hard Rocker in chat says those were the riots in the UK.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
calm down.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We had.
Everybody's like, "Oh, my bad, my
Calm
bad."
down.
Michael Caine.
shit.
Also, on July 27th, he tweeted, "My friend Roger Moore."
That's it. Was there a
That's
picture?
awesome.
Well, because before that, there was a photo.
Oh.
But then after was him clarifying who it was. I love Michael Caine.
God.
May
I
he
love-
always be with us.
I love a
forever.
universe. Well, he's not going to always be with us, but he will in spirit.
July 20th.
Why
What
would you
film are
hope
you
that?
streaming?
I mean, he's like 94. You know, what I mean,
Oh, he's
what I'm
way
saying
up
is
there.
appreciate while we have him.
I
Well,
feel that.
appreciate
He's
him now while
way
we
up
have him.
there.
He could be a
yeah.
healthy 94.
How old is he, Andy?
I mean, he's got to be 90s, I think.
Gotta be in his 90s.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
90s.
He was badass. Roger Moore died a while back, didn't he?
Jenny in chat will always have the
91.
tweets. 91.
That's a
Dang.
spry 91. All right, I feel like we got a lot of good stuff done on here. We have a lot of good potential campaigns for D&D. We caught up with Blessing on some more of his backstory of maybe potentially being an arson.
Yep. I'll see you next year.
We'll see you next year for that. Andy, thank you for joining us. Joey, also on the podcast. Joey Noel. I'll
Thanks.
clap it up for her.
Thanks.
I forgot
So
to
where were
introduce you.
you, by the way? Like,
Oh, I've been in LA for like
Ever.
weeks at this point. I don't know why I keep coming home.
Mm.
I come home for like 3 days. I throw my entire suitcase in the washing machine. I put it back in my suitcase and then I leave again.
God
You
bless
know.
you for that. You're
I
living
know.
my life. You're living the life I want to live.
It's nice to go down and just defrost
I
in the drinks
know.
pool.
I know. I miss LA.
Yeah,
Until
but
I'm there. And then after
2
3
more
days, I go,
trips.
I want to come back to this weather here.
Oh, yeah.
Too hot.
But
can't
it's
deal with the
perfect for
heat
being in
anymore.
a pool.
That's fair. You need heat and a pool. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been the Kind of Funny podcast for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, it's Patreon Pledge Month. If you guys want to get out there and help us out with a couple extra dollars, if you enjoyed this, or if you enjoyed any of our ideas of campaigns, you want to steal those and make some money off of them, hey, guess what? We have a lawyer, and that lawyer has your name now, Michael L. I see you in the live chat, Alex J. Sandoval. No, I'm kidding, everyone. If you like what we did here and you don't have any bucks to give, just leave a comment in the comments below talking about anything we talked about. What's your favorite D&D style campaign? What do you think we'd be good at? And what do you think Blessing will light on fire next? Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
Batman Begin.
Batman Begins.